All right, guys. I got out a couple days ago and did a little postseason scouting. This time frame right now, from probably mid-February to the end of March, or at least when things really start greening up good, in my opinion, is the best time to get out and do some scouting for deer hunting. It's much better than, say, summer or spring when everything's green. You can't see very well. The deer aren't in the same pattern they're going to be in come next fall. But right now, you can get out and the sign's still fresh. The woods are still open. You can see long ways. You can pick up on a lot of those things you miss come summer and early fall. So I'd urge you to get out right now, especially if you had a deer that you were hunting during the season and you couldn't quite close the deal. Right now, get out there if you think he's still alive and really learn as much as you can about that deer. Try to narrow down where he was spending his time, find his core area, and really start putting together a plan now to kill that deer next fall. It's also a great time to scout in new areas, which is what I was doing in this video you're about to check out. Hopefully kind of seeing the way I break down some of this stuff helps some of you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. But anyway, check it out and let me know what you think. All right, guys, I want to show you something. This is the reason you get out this time of year. That right there. And if we walk just over here, there's another one. And right here. Found this little thicket not far off the trail. Been a bunch of people walking right by this, but this place is tore up with rubs. So I'm gonna get marked, do a little more scouting in here, but it's something definitely gonna keep in mind for next year. Something else to keep an eye for this time of year is, and sometimes this is just as important as finding the deer, but also finding other people. This little thicket, I've been grid searching. I found a ton of rubs and a ton of sign. Well, I'm not the only one that's found it. You see right there on that tree, somebody else has got a cell camera in here. So, something to keep in mind for next year. Probably move on and find another spot. Somebody beat me to this one. But that's okay. It's public land, and there are a ton of other places out here to check out. So here's a prime example of why sometimes you got to think outside the box when you're hunting public land. So the area I'm hunting is very flat. There's not a lot of topography here. It's an area that's more popular for duck hunting than anything. And there's so little topography that it doesn't show up on like a topo map when there are elevation changes. So what I've done is looking at different years of photography on Google Earth or whatever other source. You can tell when the woods are flooded. So what I've done is there was this little finger that was running out through the woods into some flooded area, and I was looking down the map and I said, man, it looks like a ridge. Now, just remind you, it's a very minimal ridge, but let me flip the camera around here and show you. So the ridge runs back that direction, and I'm on the very edge of the point almost. I got water on that side, around, and it continues that way just for a little bit, and then back over there, there's some more water. And you see the other side, there's some water over there. So basically, it's just a narrow sliver of land that doesn't flood. And what happens is these deer travel this area. So once I got down here about halfway, and next down as it gets in the woods, I started finding stuff like this. And there are rubs everywhere. This one's from probably previous year. A couple more up here I've already looked at. these things are all over the place. And of course, as soon as man, I can't find any more. Here's one right here. Now, a lot of them aren't very big. What I have found are some old historic rubs, which lead me to believe, speaking of ducks, I want a bunch of them. But these old historic rubs lead me to believe this year, this place, this ridge is used year after year. So it's definitely something I'm going to mark on a map. I'll probably check out again next year. The problem is going to be how I'm going to get in here and access it without busting any deer that may be up here on this dry land surrounded by this water. Look at this. This right here has probably been rubbed by deer, not this year, but in years past. Sometimes that historic sign I think is more important than the fresh, at least when you're looking for a spot that's going to produce year after year. Pretty much to the end of this point here. Let's see. You see we got water all the way around us. And as you walk through here, you see stuff like, hang on. See stuff like this right here. So in an area that doesn't necessarily have the highest deer density, when you can find as many rubs as this, or some sort of feature that you can delineate, something to absolutely keep in mind for next year. That's the reason you get out this time of year and do this post-season scouting, because you can see all the fresh sign. The woods haven't grained up. You see so much further the water at the level it's going to be come next fall. There's just so much valuable information you can glean from this. But anyways, guys, there's another one of these little fingers I'm going to go check out here in a minute. Stay tuned. If I find anything worth sharing, I'll let you know. So I made it over here to this second ridge, and same thing. We're surrounded by water again, and we got a little bit of dry ground, and there's just rubs all up and down this little ridge. So that just goes to show you, if you find some sort of pattern in one area, if you find the same sort of feature somewhere else on the same type of habitat, a lot of times you're going to find sign the same way. Like there's a rub right there. I'm just walking through here. However, a lot of times when you find something, somebody else has found it too. Like this right here. You can see that. Somebody's got a lean-to stand back up in here. And I applaud them for getting it back in here, because we're probably a good mile deep. And that's a straight up lean-to stand. I don't know how much that thing weighs. That was a chore getting in here, I guarantee you. Now then, it doesn't look like it's really been used this season. You're supposed to, remove your stands every 7 days or something out here. But a lot of people don't. The stand looks like it's been here for at least a year. There's no way to know if it's been hunted this year or not, but it's a good looking spot. So anyway, we're gonna keep looking, see what else we find. All right, guys, we got an interesting combination of stuff right here in this one spot. So right over there is a big long bayou. Okay, and then it looks like a little tornado or a bunch of straight line winds have come through here and just knocked a ton of trees down to grown back up in this thick stuff. So I've been walking through this thick stuff, trying to find deer sign, thinking it'd be good bedding. And I found this trail that cuts right through it here with that big edge of bio right there. So deer kind of funnel through all this stuff. And then I walked just a little ways further. And right here, I know it's hard to tell. See all this poop and bare dirt. And there's even a little track right there still. And right above it, there's this limb. And it's kind of breaking down, hard to see. If you look, there's all these twisted off branches. Even down here on the ends, these little broke branches. Little broke branches. So this is a scrape right here off this trail, in the middle of all this thick stuff. And to make it even better, just right up here, scrub. So literally in this one spot, you have all the ingredients. You have edge, funnel, thick bedding, you have a scrape and a rub, and then right out here once you get through it, you have this open timber which should produce acorns and food. So in this one location, in my opinion, I have pretty much all the ingredients I need to have deer. So this is something I marked. I'll check out next year. It'd be a very good location for a trail camera in that funnel on that scrape. So I may or may not hang one there next season, but it's a pretty good, promising looking spot. It's February 13th, I believe, and this is a fresh scrape. This is something to look for this time of year when you're out scouting. This stuff's still fresh, and I can tell this is scrape that's been used multiple years in a row. So things like this, that's a broken limb that is healed back up. You know, there's little broken limbs around here. That one looks like it's got a, look at that. It's a deer hair. There's rubbing the forehead on it. And right over here, you can tell the scrape's probably usually a lot bigger because there's a licking branch there. And one there. So this is a spot I'll definitely mark and check out next year and see if it's still active. Let's check this out. That rub right here on the confluence of where this little creek is actually running into that bigger swamp over there that we were talking about earlier. So this is another spot I'm gonna mark. This is looking like a pretty big area in here where all this thick stuff is blown down. Something I'm definitely going to check out come next season. Like I was saying earlier, this time of year scouting for people is almost as important as scouting for deer. So I'm out here walking around. I noticed this. It's obvious somebody cut that off with a saw. Now you're not even allowed to bring saws out here. Dang sure not supposed to be cutting trees down. Another one that was cut down. So I knew somebody was hunting in this area, and I know why. So I got to looking around, doing some more investigating, and I was honestly looking for a stand. I looked over here and noticed this tree all tore up. They've definitely climbed it several times way up there with the climbing stand. Anyway, I know somebody else has been hunting here now, so I'll just keep that in mind for next year. But like I said, the more you understand about an area, that's just not just the wildlife, it's also your competition, the other hunters. Understand what they're doing and use it to your advantage, and it can make you that much more successful. So, anyway. Never know what you're gonna find back on some public land. All right, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Hopefully some of y'all found that informative. Leave some comments or anything below, any thoughts you have. But get out there, do some scouting. It'll sure help you out come next deer season. So anyway, as always, thanks for liking the video, and if you don't mind, hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see y'all in the next one.